We're going to do it up. Brian, welcome back, brother.
Joe, welcome.
Ready?
Joe and Blasko Show.
You know it. All right, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so it's fall.
Yeah?
Hoodie season. Favorite time of the year. I've always been attracted to the season, the sights, the smells, the holiday of Halloween. I'm a big fanatic. I get that from my father when we were young. We were the yard in the neighborhood that had the tombstones. My dad built a casket, laid in the driveway, passed out candy and then eventually got a real casket. So we were on the news, in the newspapers. So that love of Halloween transferred over to me. So I love it. This month is October, and there is a Friday the 13th. What are your thoughts on superstition?
I don't really have it. I think superstitions are powerful because if you can get your brain to buy into anything, it can make some things happen in the real world. And I think that's all superstitions could be.
So it's kind of like you're making it happen based on your thoughts.
Yeah.
Like the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely.
I think I can win this race. You increase your chances of winning. I think I'm going to lose.
Yeah, lucky rabbit's foot. You say that it's lucky. You make it lucky. And then you're always looking out for ways of it being lucky.
Okay. All right. So if something happens that is good, you just attribute it to the rep.
That's it.
All right. Yeah, because there are some athletes who have superstitions with regards to, I'm not going to change this pair of socks or this pair of underwear. So black cat running in front of you doesn't bother you.
Not at all.
Walking under a ladder. See, here's what's crazy. I don't believe in superstitions, but I don't not believe in them.
Right.
So I will never walk under a ladder just for the simple fact that maybe something. But then again, if something bad happens, I would attribute it to, it was because of the ladder.
Yeah, and I started training my brain in that way. And when you get familiar with the chemicals that you can get your brain to produce here, then you kind of don't mess with that. Now, if I subscribe to the latter thing, then I would absolutely frame it that way. I'd get the fear chemicals that way, and then I would populate those things happening. But I did that all on my own. It had nothing to do with the ladder.
Wasn't the ladder.
It wasn't the ladder.
All right. What are your thoughts on scary movies?
I love scary movies.
I love them. So my daughters and I have a tally. We have watched, and this is probably horrible parenting, I want to say 68 scary movies. From suspense to thriller to not gore and guts and blood like the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Streets and Halloween, which are fun movies. Psychological thrillers, and we rank them. And the Insidious movies are very good. I like scary movies.
Yes.
I think they're interesting. I do watch them like this. I'm a big baby. I put a blanket over my head. But we love the scary movies. How do you feel about the baking shows? So what I mean by that is not Chopped or Guy Fieri or Rams. There is a show called Halloween Wars that I'm addicted to. It's a 3-person team. You have a pumpkin carver, an that's the winner. A sugar pool person, and a baker, and they have to create these masterpieces, and they have like 7 hours to do it, and the pumpkin carving. So they're given a theme, like it's a carnival. It's a Halloween carnival theme with clowns. Do you watch any of those shows?
I haven't, no, and no exposure to it whatsoever.
I think you'd be intrigued because Halloween Wars, and I'm giving them a free plug, is amazing. What these people create with regards to carving a pumpkin and baking something and pulling sugar, it's just amazing. So this time of the year, I'm in front of my TV, glued every evening, if I'm not on the road, watching Halloween
Baking
Wars.
shows and scary
movies. Yeah.
What a pair.
Right. I got my house smelling like a pumpkin. Although I'm not a fan of pumpkin spice stuff. I think we talked about that. I don't like to drink it.
Well, and same reason on the scary movies. I think, we were built as survivors and adapters, right? And so as early human beings, when we got in front of a grizzly bear, we were at our sharpest and our best because that's how we were built, to survive those things. So I think scary movies kind of do that to us without the fear of, the murderer jumping off of the screen and whatever, but you still get those chemicals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is it an endorphin? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you start floating around, and then you hear one little noise in your kitchen when you're home alone, and you think, someone's here to murder me.
Yeah, and I'm a planner too, so like if I never conceived a scary moment, I'm like, what would I really do in that situation? Guys coming at me with a chainsaw, like, where am I going?
Yeah. All right, one thing we forgot to talk about last time, which I'm so mad at myself for forgetting because you were in the midst of it, fasting and food.
Yes.
How long did you go?
I went 72 hours.
Unbelievable. So does that include liquids?
I do coffee and water.
You're allowed to have coffee and water,
Yep.
but no
black coffee. No, nothing that has a caloric response.
Okay, so no solid food.
Right.
How was it? Did your wife and son want to throw you out of the house?
No, and honestly, I've done it so often. They can't even really tell. The only thing they know is that like when they're eating, I'm not, and I'm not in front of the fridge. I have no hunger whatsoever. I'm just checked out from the food thing for a little bit.
Because we recorded. Well, I believe you were fat, and I forgot. And you were pleasant. You were fine.
Yeah, you'd never know.
Why do you do it? For those listening.
Well, I started doing it because of immune system. Like I touch keyboards and gross stuff out in the public, and I was sick of being sick.
Okay.
Right? And when you fast, you get two things. You get one, you sort of like get cell repair, and your body has a chance to slow down. Instead of processing food, it starts repairing itself and making some anomalous cells, recycling them and getting out of your system. So I believe the health benefits of fasting are way up there.
Is there a time on that when that stuff starts to regenerate? Is it 24 hours, 48 hours, 72
it's
hours?
at the 17-hour mark. That's
Okay.
when it all kicks off. You get autophagy that kicks in at 17 hours, and it just keeps getting higher and more persistent as the fast goes on.
Wow, I couldn't do it. I think it's amazing.
I think you could. I think
I could.
I think
my
all
mindset
people,
is strong enough. However,
if you worked into it, anybody can do it.
I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's the real.
Right. Let's be honest. I wouldn't want it unless my doctor said you can't eat for 72 hours because this will happen. Then okay, I'll do this.
What's the longest that you have gone without food intentionally?
Probably when I had a colonoscopy.
They made you stop for 24 hours?
I turned 40 years old a million years ago, and I thought I should go in and get one of those scopes, and it was the 24-hour fasting cleanse room. That was it. I'm not a huge eater, though, in the morning, which I'm trying to be more of, because if I don't eat in the morning or afternoon and I pig out at night, it's just bad. So I'm trying to eat a little bit in the morning to get the metabolism going. I drink coffee all day. You know that.
Yep.
I'm a maniac. And it has no effect on me with regards to, and I believe, maybe it does. I can drink decaf coffee. I'm still a hyper person. I'm still a maniac. So people always see me with coffee in my hand. They're like, you're so hyper. And it's not because of the coffee. I'm just naturally wired that way.
Yeah.
So,
and speaking of last show, not to switch topics here, but we did a show on some conspiracy theories.
yeah, did we get some traction on that?
And like a couple days later, there was a train, I think it was in Spain or something like that, and they drove by a Sasquatch, and they got it on video.
Shut the front door.
Nope.
See? Right. Too many people are seeing it not to be real.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, for those of you who missed that, go back and watch
And it
that
wasn't
last segment.
grainy footage. It was actually
Clear?
like, it was either someone dressed up as a hox or that was Sasquatch, one of the two.
One of the two. And if it was a hoax, it was a good costume.
Absolutely.
Would win a Halloween costume party this year. Do you like Halloween parties? Do you like costumes? Do you like decorating?
I don't like parties in
Dressing up?
general.
No.
So.
Okay. My God, Joe, we have to. You don't like parties. You don't like sugar. You like the fast. What the hell's going on here? All right,
I'm a riot.
What is it about the party? Is it the people? Do you have a phobia?
So I have a hearing deficit, and when I'm at
Right.
parties, I can't keep up with conversations.
Okay.
It gets a little overwhelming for my senses, so I struggle quite a bit. I can tolerate it for a little bit, but it's not a fun experience.
Okay. Smaller parties better?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
You don't like
Without
the-
loud
the
music
big bashes.
would be helpful.
All right. Haunted houses. Do you like them?
Love haunted houses.
Yeah, okay. I do too. I don't like to be first. I like to be in the middle of the pack, crunched in. When my kids were younger, we used to go to a few of them. Now that they're older, they kind of go on their own. But
Yeah.
I do like the haunted houses. And you know what's crazy? We know they're just human beings dressed up, but we're still afraid. I mean, realistically, no one's going to chop your head off in the haunted house. But something about the mind, I don't know. You walk through, you hear that noise.
Did you ever see our ghost hunts, by the way? We go on ghost hunts.
Where? Here in Youngstown?
Yeah, we go all over the place.
Wait a second. Okay.
Yes.
How do I get on board?
So the next one, maybe you'll come out with us. We're going to get one in October and then one in November.
Okay.
And so we've been out to the reformatory in
It's a walking
Mansfield.
tour?
No.
Oh, no.
We
You
get the
literally
place,
get the place. Wait a second.
and we hunt.
What?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Yes.
You say Mansfield, you mean the old penitentiary.
The reformatory.
Right, the reformatory.
Yeah.
Wasn't Shawshank Redemption filmed there?
Yeah.
Correct. So oh my gosh, you go all night?
All night.
Like Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
You're looking for...
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it. Let me...
Okay, so my favorite part about it is the people who rent us the place, they kind of give us the storyline, where the hot spots are, where people look at things. And so we do something called isolation. And we will pick the scariest place, the most isolated place, and we will set a person by themselves in a dark room to gather their thoughts and to see what's going on. This is my favorite thing that we do, because like you said, your brain like plays with you a little bit when you're scared, right? And the goal is to sit 10 minutes all by yourself in a dark room in the scariest, knowing the history of that room and whatever. And first couple minutes is always just fine, you know? But then the brain kicks in, and then you don't want to be there anymore. And then you're trying to get time to speed up.
Right.
And then you want to, at the first sense of anything, you're going to run. And just what the brain does.
Oh, my God. Do you use, what are they called? EVCP pucks?
EVPs?
EVPs.
Yeah. We have all the tech stuff
Wait
here.
a second. This is unbelievable. So when I say I love this stuff, I do. I took my daughters to Hillview Manor. We saw an episode of Ghost Adventures.
Nice.
And we saw that they had explored Hillview Manor in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And I booked a trip, and my daughters and I went on a tour. We weren't looking for it, but we kind of were with the guide who took us through, and we heard some noises, and he had the box and this and that. And so I'm fascinated by that stuff. I've never been on one like what you're saying. How many people go?
It depends. If it's a small space, we'll take 3 or 4 guys. If it's a big space, we can get up to 10.
And you have found or heard or seen?
So I'm the science cynic guy,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So I'm looking to disprove
Right,
stuff.
right.
And so most of it is either easily explainable or just I don't know. There isn't anything like I saw an apparition and he, told me the lottery numbers. I just don't have that kind of experience.
4, 8, 7, 13, 40.
Now, and you know when you were a kid and you had the Ouija board and it started moving and you just knew it was somebody else other than you. Well, that's how I get. Like there's some people that have experiences and they're odd and they're weird, but it's got to be somebody let their imagination get the better of them and that stuff happen. There's some freaky ones. We were doing an isolation at an abandoned high school or middle school, and in this one hallway, still had the lockers up, still had it was pitch black.
Okay.
And so we sat in this thing, and then the challenge was to walk all the way down to the end of the hallway by yourself, and then walk all the way back. Well, one of the guys got to the end of the hallway, and one of the lockers just slammed shut, and the dude flipped out and just ran all the way back, right? So unexplainable, what closed the locker? And so my cynic brain's like, well, when he's walking down, did he startle a raccoon? Did a raccoon then hit the locker and close? And so I don't know that there was a raccoon. I don't know that it wasn't a spirit.
Right.
So I don't know what it was. It was just odd.
You try to debunk. They call that debunking. On Ghost Adventures, they debunk. Wow, that's really interesting. All right, we'll have to talk off air on that stuff. Part of me wants to do it. Part of me is still nervous because I'm afraid something's going to attach itself to me and go home with me. Because I've seen those types of things.
As a kid, I had that happen to me.
Really?
There was, as a kid, I had a bunch of experiences, and it was just like almost tormenting me. It would keep me up at night. It would make sure that I was always in an uneasy and whatever. And when I bought my first house, we started doing some major renovations in it, and so I spent a lot of time in this house in different states of disrepair. And I had a ton of experiences. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and there would be someone looking out the window, like an apparition in the the curtains and stuff like that. I would be sleeping, and the light would turn on, the fan would start spinning, just stuff that would wake me up, startle me. And then one day I just said, I don't care what you want or what you need. Leave me the F alone. And after that moment, not a single instance happened. Nope, not a single instance.
Wow.
I was so pissed off. I meant it. Like,
right.
If it would have been there, I'd have punched it in the face.
Oh my goodness. I would have left. There's a Eddie Murphy. I don't know if you Eddie Murphy, for those of you who aren't a fan, it is the best all-time. I just watched it the other day with some friends. Delirious, to me, is the best all-time stand-up 1-hour show. It was from Eddie Murphy back in 1983, I think. He wore the red leather outfit.
Yes.
He talks about ghosts and hauntings, and he talks about different cultures and different people. And some people will walk in and see a beautiful house and a lovely staircase, and then they'll hear something go, "Get out." And Eddie Murphy goes, "Gotta go." Where other families will hear, "Get out." They'll be like, "Ooh, let's explore." And some people want to stick around.
Yeah.
And then it's just one of the funniest
So
things
that's why
ever.
you watch the scary movies, so you see what you should do. You know, when the people who explore
Yes.
die, right?
Right.
Usually die.
Get out. And don't fall when you're running away, right? Every Friday the 13th, someone's running through the woods. All right. Let's wrap this up with one thing I saw that you posted.
Okay.
And I'm a fan of other people doing it, not myself, and that's running. I saw the Youngstown Marathon's coming October 22nd. You're going to run it?
Yep.
And that is a 3-point-something mile, or is it a 4?
Well, it's a 12-mile, but they split it up on 3 people, so everybody runs a 4-mile leg.
Oh, okay. And a marathon is 23-point-something?
Yeah, something like
okay.
that. I think it's 7. I don't know.
So you have a team of 3.
Yeah.
12. You're going to run 4 of the miles, and I think you said your goal was 30 minutes.
Yep.
That's pretty good. That's like a 7-minute. 7 times 4 is 28. That's pretty good.
That's going to be
Are
smoking.
you preparing for it? Do you prepare for that, or you just go out and run?
So my son runs cross country, so 4 days a week I'm
Right, I
running
saw
with
those
him
posts.
anyway.
Okay. Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. I don't like running. Unless it's from a ghost.
From a ghost, you'll run all day. That's what we got to have, a ghost chasing marathon.
And I'll
and then
sprint.
Brian's there.
Right. Well, good luck. October
Well, thank
22nd, Youngstown Marathon. Joe and his team will be running. All right, Joe. That's about it, I think.
All right.